leading into the crisis, the housing market was very healthy. In most regards, in terms of fundamentals, things look pretty good. There was one way in which it didn't look very good that we can talk a little bit more in depth about, and that's in terms of affordability. Some of the health in the housing market leading up to the last recession, both obviously we had over leverage in the financial system, we had a number of other problems, but we also to some extent had oversupply of housing. Not the issue here. Not surprisingly, if we have supply kind of running low, demand, as I'll show you momentarily, is running strong. It's really materialized in a significant burden in terms of households and the affordability of housing. And here, looking at the single-family housing market, we see this remarkable drop in home sales, in the for-sale inventory. Renters have, on average, half the income that owners do. One of the questions is really going to be what's going to happen as we see this whole crisis unfold for some period of time to the renter population. And it hasn't really manifested itself yet, primarily because we've got this unprecedented level of government support that's really keeping things going. We really haven't seen a significant dip in terms of the levels of collections. There's no question, if you ask American households, do you aspire to own a home? You will get an overwhelming yes. That still remains the American dream. That's what households aspire to. The question is, can they afford to buy the house they want? While renting is more affordable to owning for the average household, renting is itself becoming less and less affordable. And the question is kind of where do we go from here? And I will only offer the view, I think it continues, is that the affordability pressures will continue to grow given what we saw earlier in terms of supply. Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae our charter, our mission requires us to provide liquidity, stability, and affordability to the housing market, which we think we do every day. But what we really view ourselves as trying to do is to be able to provide liquidity without taking significant credit risk. But we still think the best business model is where we distribute the risk that we take on. Part of the underlying story is we have very little capital because we've been dividending it to the U.S. Treasury for the last 12 years. But interestingly, even in the last quarter, we put up significant reserves. We did not take a loss in terms of our comprehensive income. And a big part of that is our having undertaken these credit risk transfers. As many of you probably know, we have been in conservatorship since 2008. That means we have effectively been under government control. There was a lot of talk in Washington about potentially having us exit conservatorship, returning us to private status, raising capital. And we are in the process. Director Calabria has announced his intention to do that, the prospect of an exit in 2021 or 2022. The fact that we don't hold all the risk that we take on, rather, we use a variety of structures to sell risk into the capital markets so that we are not some just monoline, highly concentrated holder of mortgage credit risk, but now able to better distribute that systemic risk around the economy. And that's why with only $9.5 billion, we continue to believe we will not be at risk of failure this time around. Anything can happen. It could get a lot worse. But based on what we see in front of us, again, we're looking like we're going to hold strong.